peeked outside in the front yard, and you can see this fireball going down the street.
Neighbors helping neighbors after a small Cessna jet crashes into a San Diego neighborhood early this morning, killing multiple people on board.
I ran down the street. We helped a family out of their backyard.
Instantly, my mind went to, I have to get my family out of here.
Our crews have been out there all day long talking with those who've been impacted. CBS 8 News Live at 5 starts right now.
This is CBS 8 News Live at 5.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Anna Laurel, joined by Carlo Cicchetto tonight, who is live in Tierra Santa, where a small Cessna jet crashed early this morning. We've been on top of this story all day long. It happened in military housing at Sample and Salmon Street. The FAA now confirms tonight 6 people were on that plane, and a music talent agency says 3 of its employees died. At least 8 others on the ground were hurt. Officials tell us at least 10 homes were damaged and 100 people forced to evacuate. This is a look at just some of the damage we've seen. You can see charred homes and cars, and all those cars parked there along the street burst into flames because jet fuel was flowing down the street. The National Transportation Board tells us the plane hit power lines while heading for Montgomery Field Airport and then collided into a home before skidding down the street. Carlo, we've been hearing from people impacted all day long. What are you seeing out there tonight?
Anna, thank you. We're seeing a quiet neighborhood right now because no one's allowed to go back to their homes just yet. And a lot of the initial work after this crash has been done. It is eerie quiet kind of settling in, but you look behind me, you can see the damage left behind. That home is on the corner of Sample Street and Salmon Street. That's 10297 Sample Street. You can see that pickup truck, which as I'm sitting here, I believe that it was hit and knocked into that home, that corner. What I thought was a garage actually is the living room of that home on the corner. It suffered major damage. And behind that, flowing down the street, is where that jet fuel rolled down. It flowed down, setting other vehicles on fire. Again, the scene's a little bit quieter now. Urban Search and Rescue pulled out a little while ago. We're not sure what kind of recovery efforts they're working on. But the big question, of course, that everybody's asking right now is, how did this happen? Our Kelly Hessedal has been on that part of it all day long. She's talked to a pilot about the approach here, what happened as the plane was approaching, the decisions that were made. Kelly, what did you learn today?
That's right. And this investigation is underway. We are learning more about the people on board. According to the music agency Sound Talent Group, 3 of its employees were on board when that plane crashed, including the agency's co-founder, Dave Shapiro, who is the listed owner of the plane. He is a pilot. So we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But look at some of these charred cars here behind me. Carla, we're about a block away from you. I talked to a very experienced commercial pilot today with more than 40 years who says this should have never happened. That pilot should not have tried to land at Montgomery Field. Robert Katz walks me through some of the air traffic controller audio you're about to hear from liveatc.net.
SoCal Citation 666 Delta Sierra, descending through 17,000 for 12,000.
That's the pilot.
Station 666 Delta Sierra SoCal approach. The Montgomery ASOS is out of service. Which approach would you like?
Yeah, 6 Delta Sierra, yeah, we noticed that. Take the RNAV 28, please.
Okay, stop right there. This guy has no authority to even attempt an approach when he has no reported weather. That's just careless and reckless on his part.
6 Delta Sierra, just wanted to know if you really had any idea on the weather. I got the Gillespie weather, but as I'm sure you know, sometimes it can be dramatically different between Gillespie and Montgomery.
6 Delta Sierra, let me see what I can find out for you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, according to Gillespie, it's pretty much down to minimum, so I just want to see what I'm in for here.
Now, Katz points out that this is just his opinion about the pilot based on all the information he's gathered. Now, we know the weather conditions were poor, visibility was poor. The plane, a Cessna Citation, was leaving Wichita, Kansas, and headed to San Diego. Again, on board, according to the music agency Sound Talent Group, co-founder Dave Shapiro, the owner of the plane, and 2 other employees, though they didn't identify them. Now, on social media, we tracked down a recent post for a drummer named Daniel Williams. The tail number matches the one involved in the crash. crash. N666DS. He tagged Shapiro in the post and also posted photos from inside the cockpit. So back out here live, certainly heartbreaking for everyone involved in this. I know CBS News spoke to Williams' father, who confirmed his death. Now, he's the ex-drummer of a band called The Devil Wears Prada. Shapiro was known in the music world. We understand that he has a home in San Carlos. So this investigation is going to be extensive. Let's go now to Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis for the latest on what the weather conditions were like at the time of this crash. Carlene?
Hey, Kelly. As you had mentioned, low visibility. That was something that was mentioned several times during the time of this crash earlier this morning. And even when first responders were on the scene, they were talking about how they could hardly see in front of them. So when we take a look at the conditions when this crash did take place, low visibility because of a low cloud ceiling. We had a shallow marine layer, dense fog also being a potential factor. Now, when we set the clock in motion, looking at some of the weather stations in the area, you're seeing visibility down to about a half a mile. That big long stretch where you're seeing that cloud cover, that white right there on the screen. So that is what they were dealing with at the time when taking that flight path. It was still pretty low as we went throughout the morning, even around 7:50 in the morning. You're still seeing some of that low visibility down to about 2 miles for Kearney Mesa, slight improvement from that half a mile. And then as the day progressed, we saw that marine layer lifting out. We are looking at the potential for more of that cloud cover as we go from tonight through tomorrow morning. Those details coming up. Carlo.
Thanks, Carlene. This crash happened just before 4 this morning, a quiet neighborhood. You can only imagine what it was like to be awakened by a loud crash of a jet slamming into the street next to her. Our Alex Cheney has more on that, the reaction of somebody who lives just a few houses away from where this happened. Alex?
Yeah, Carlo, you know, we mentioned it earlier in the newscast here, but this is a community of military professionals. So these people, they have been trained so well that they are able to react to these situations much faster. I've been talking to people in this neighborhood just about the last hour or two. They're all telling me that they are coming together in the moment. They knew what to do to check on others in the area to make sure that they were okay. Take a listen.
I was like, oh my gosh, like fire. So I ran outside, all the neighbors were outside, we were gathering around, trying to figure out what happened. They were like, it's a plane. I was like, a plane? And we all just kind of like gathered together. We were going house to house, checking on everybody, making sure they were up, making sure they knew what was going on.
Of course, a terrible tragedy like this sends absolute shockwaves all throughout the community. You can see people still standing outside trying to see what's going on. Families just trying to get more information as this story continues to develop. We're going to continue to go through this neighborhood, find more people, and find out what they experienced during this horrible moment this morning. Carlo, back to you.
Thanks, Alex. And again, the scene compared to early this morning, much different. It's settled down out here. Todd, if we could just take a closer look again, I want to show people the destruction. It's hard to believe that this plane impacted the street less than 10 yards away from a home, it appears. You can only imagine just a slight difference in course could have turned this into an even bigger tragedy. There's row upon row of houses going in that same direction that the plane was headed. When this plane hit, people ran out of their homes. It was chaos, flames on Sample Street because of jet fuel. People were trying to get to safety, and in that chaos, a lot of pets ran from their homes. The San Diego Humane Society jumped in along with first responders to get some of those pets and save them. Our Shannon Handy has that part of the story.
We were at the San Diego Humane Society when several dogs were brought in, all of them rescued from the site of this morning's crash. As soon as they arrived, employees got to work bathing them, since many were covered in fuel from the plane. From there, they were examined and placed in the shelter.
Our medical staff is vaccinating, microchipping, and taking a photo for their shelter photos so we can identify once they're here.
For those already microchipped, the information will be used to eventually reunite them with their owners.
You're okay.
Humane Society officers were called out to the scene right after the crash by San Diego police, who reported seeing a lot of pets roaming around alone.
It's okay. It's okay.
In some cases, pets were left inside their homes because owners had to evacuate so quickly.
Our hope is that most of these pets are on emergency boarding, meaning that we will hang on to these pets while their owners figure out next steps, and then they go back to their owners. There are some cases of owners having already surrendered their animals to us, meaning that they have just said that they cannot care for their pets anymore.
The Humane Society is over capacity and has been for quite some time, but they are prepared to help any animal who needs it. No questions asked.
Our Shannon Handy reporting, and they are over capacity. They still step up so they can use your help during this time. Donate to the San Diego Humane Society as they are stepping up to help the military families in this neighborhood who are still out of their homes and have no idea where their pets are right now. Anna, for now, I'm going to send it back into you. We have more coming from live on the scene of this crash here in Tierra Santa.
All right, Carlo, thank you. And still ahead, if you're wondering how to help out the people and families impacted today, we'll check in with our Abby Black, who will share how you can do just that. Stay with us.